So AWS IoT recently launched this feature for AWS IoT Core, which is Mqtt retained messages, right? So I thought I'd do a video on it, and in this video I'll go through introduction for that feature. I'll also do some sample demos, right? So I'll do the demo using a console. I'll do the demo using the device SDKs like a normal IoT device would, and also via the AWS SDKs that make the API calls in the backend. Right. And lastly, we'll take a look at some considerations if you're looking to use retained messages in your application environment. So let's get started. For the introduction, I found this really good blog that explains everything on Mqtt retained messages. So let's take a look at the points in red. This feature allows you to store a single message per a given Mqtt topic for delivery to any current and future topic subscribers. The current and future topic subscribers is a thing to note. Also, a retained message is delivered to any currently subscribed clients, just like a normal message, and it will also be automatically sent to new clients upon subscribing to that topic. So this is really well explained in this diagram. Here you can see there is a user that is publishing messages with the retained flag set to true on this topic, and there are active subscribers for that topic, right? So whenever there is a message sent by the user, it is received by these clients just like normal PubSub, right? Now in case there is a new subscriber, new client that subscribes to that topic, it will receive that latest message, right? Even if it was not actively subscribed at that time, it will still receive because it was a retained message, right? So now let's take a look at the points in orange. Creating a retained message simply requires setting a retained flag when publishing to let the AWS IoT Core broker know to save it. So similarly, here it says retained true. So this is the flag that you need to set. As only one retained message can be saved per topic, any future retained messages that are sent will replace an existing retained message if there is one. So this subscriber, let's say, is sending multiple messages. So every few hours, let's say, it says on, then off, then on, then off. Now, whenever a new subscriber, right, connects or subscribes to that topic, it will receive the latest message. It won't receive anything from before. It will receive the latest message because there is only one message that can be stored per topic, or stored as in retained, right? Now let's take a look at the points in green. AWS IoT Core will store retained messages for up to 3 years after the last time they were updated or accessed. This is important. Updated means you're sending a message on that topic with retained flag set to true. Accessed means a new subscriber subscribes and receives that message. So from that point, when a subscriber received that retained message, from that point after 3 years, that message will be deleted from AWS IoT Core, right? One more point I'd like to share is that subscription to topic filters that contain a wildcard character cannot receive retained messages, right? You have to subscribe to the topic filter that matches it exactly. For example, let's say you're sending messages to this topic with the retained flag set to true. Now you can't just subscribe to this topic with the wildcard, right? You won't receive that retained message. You have to subscribe to this topic exactly to get that retained message, right? So this out of the way, please join me for the demos. To test retained messages from the AWS IoT console, I'll go to the test console to create my Mqtt test client, right? You can access this by going into test and clicking on test client. Here I have the option to subscribe as well as publish, right? So the first thing I'll do is subscribe to this test retained testing console topic. So now you can see I did not get any messages because there were no messages retained for this topic. Now let's go ahead and publish a few messages on this topic. When I go to publish, I have additional configuration options, and here I can set the retained flag to true or false, right? And also I can select the QoS. AWS IoT currently does not support QoS 2. Cool. So first I'll send a message without setting the retain message flag. So let's publish a message and I'll receive it, right? Let's send one more. I'll send that and I got that message as well, right? So now this one I'll actually send the third one with the retain message flag set. So I'll publish. I got the message. This is normal operation, just like pub/sub, right? But one thing happened. So they mentioned in the blog that we can actually go into manage and retain messages. So here I'll refresh and you can see that there was a message retained at this time. And if I click on it, this is the retained message for this topic, right? So what I'll do is I'll unsubscribe from this topic and I'll try and subscribe again. So when I subscribe, you see, I got this retained message instantly. I can also demonstrate this by opening another test client in a different tab. So let me copy this topic name and subscribe to this topic. The moment I subscribe, I get the retained message, right? So there's one more thing I'm going to try is to replace this retained message with another one. So in order to replace, all you have to do is send one more message with the retained message flag set to true. The moment I send, I get another message on that subscriber and I just have to refresh and see it's set to 4. So this is how you replace a retained message. Now, in order to test from the device SDKs, we will need two pieces of code, one to publish and the other to subscribe. Also, the publish call that is made in the code should set the retain message flag as true. So in order to find samples, I went to the device SDK documentation and here we can see we have multiple languages and we have samples for each. So I went into the samples section for Python and unfortunately they do not have the option to set the retain message flag parameter. I actually went into the message pub/sub code and referred the arguments, but there are no arguments for retain message, right? So I would have to build the code myself. Luckily, I could find sections of the code where we make the publish call. So the yellow is for publish and the green is for subscribe. So for publish, all you need to do is put this piece of code, and for subscribe, you need to refer this part where we subscribe and this part where we print whatever message is received on that topic, right? But again, so there is no mention for retain message. For that, we can go to the device SDK documentation itself, and there we can see this is how we set the retain message flag. So all we need to do is add another parameter called retain, and we set it to a Boolean value of true or false. Luckily, there is a documentation for publishing a message, just a single message to AWS IoT, right, using the Video SDK. So here it is, and this is the part where we make the publish call. So according to the documentation here, all we need to do is add this retain message flag along with this, right? So having kept all of this in mind, I have created these two pieces of code. So on the left, you can see for publish, and the right is for subscribe. So this is the part. So this is where we make the publish call, and here you can see retain set to true. That's it. Everything else is pretty much the same, and I've also removed the loop, right? For subscribe, I removed the part for publish and instead added the part for subscribe, and also added the on message received function that will print the message. Lastly, I have added a sleep timer that would wait for messages to arrive. That out the way, let's test this out. So this will send the message, retain message to this particular topic, and whenever I subscribe to this topic, again, I will receive the retain message back. So let's try it out. Let's send a message first and let's subscribe to it afterwards. So I send a message, publish was successful, and this was the message that was sent, right? Now our subscriber is not currently subscribed to this topic. Okay, let's run this code. And here, so it began to subscribe to this topic, and the moment it starts subscribing, it got the message. We can also see from the AWS IoT console that this retain message has arrived. So here it is, and this is the content. Now let's test out using the API calls.